In 2025, I read a grand total of 45 books. And in my previous video, I talked about my favorites, but in today's video, we're gonna talk about the worst of them. So hi and welcome back, my fellow fantasy book lovers, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Kathy and I'm a fantasy book reader from Belgium. For today's video, I want to talk about the worst books that I read in 2025. And lucky for me, there's only 4 books on this list. But I will get into detail on every single book, why it wasn't for me, and maybe it will give you some insights on why it could be something good for you, even if it didn't end up working for me. Now, the first book on my list is actually a book that I didn't finish. So the only book that I DNF'd this year was The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry by C.M. Waggoner. And as is the story, we have the startup. We follow this girl who is like a lower class. Her mom is basically trailer trash and taking drugs, etc. But they have magical abilities. And in this world, magic is something that a lot of people have or can have, but a lot of people don't have it either. She lives in this house, or in this apartment more or less, where she has to pay rent. And with a magical pact, she is able to extend paying her rent, so you know that she's tight on money. And she tries to find a job or something to help her out. Now, she gets arrested, and when she's arrested, she claims that she's going to be part of this quest where they need magical assistance to help to guide someone from their home to where she's going in exclusion before her marriage. This is like a tradition that is still done there. Up to there, I love the book. We have the group of people getting together. She is actually included on this mission because she is a fire witch, which is something that is not super common. And then we actually get onto the road to wherever this exclusion is, and a lot of things happen on the way. But I felt that we got her quite fast, and the main reason that I DNF'd the book was the writing style. This is written in this poor old English, and it just got on my nerves so bad that for me it was really difficult to read this book in the first place. Not because I didn't understand what was happening, but because I was so annoyed at how the people were speaking and how they were communicating amongst each other. And it just felt ridiculous and over the top and not for me at all. So I DNF'd the book, I think at 30%, something among those lines, and I don't regret DNFing it at all. And then we get onto the 3 books that I actually finished that I ended up giving 2 stars. The first one on my list is The Court of Dragons and Twilight by G. Bailey. Now, this was the Court of Dragons series finale, the last book. So the main setup of this series, where we start in book 1, is that there are 5 dragon shifter princes, and they need to find a bride to marry to become their queen. And this is kind of like a Hunger Trials type situation where a lot of girls are entering, including our main character that we follow. She's kind of pushed into entering and not really like wanting to enter, but she enters anyways because she can see certain benefits to entering this trial. It involves magic. The setup was really cool. Like book 1, I really enjoyed. And then at the ending of book 1, there's a revelation, and actually book 2, 3, 4, 5 just met on. There are different elements of other mythologies pulled into the story that didn't really make sense at all. And it says that it is a why choose romance, but there isn't actually anything why choose about it, except that the main character is involved with all of the other like shifter characters, but never at the same time, and it's like very lacking of any of those romantical elements. So I feel like, is this book written by AI even? It could be possible. It wasn't a difficult read, but I did struggle with the last book because this should have been this like really good conclusion to the series, and it just felt like it lacked a lot. So this entire series I will not be giving a good review on. I did enjoy the first book, but what they've done with it afterwards just was total shit. So do I regret reading these books? Yes and no. Will I ever read them again? Absolutely not. Up next, we have a book that was actually a Fairy Loot or an Illumicrate pick, and even Waterstones had a special edition about it. Like, this book was really hyped and everywhere, and I feel like the people hyping it hadn't even read it, because it was The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers, and the main setup is that we have this young teenage girl who's being raised by her uncle, and we don't really know what is going on at the beginning of the book, but her mom has vanished. They all have magical talents, and the reason that her mom has vanished is not very clear from the start either. So a lot of information is being kept from our main character, but she has a connection with someone else who has magical abilities, and there is just a lot going on. But the main thing is that the first half of the book is so focused on this girl trying to find her mother, even further along, and then at the end, at the last few chapters, they completely forget about the mother and the book ends. Something different happens entirely, and it's as if everything that has happened, everything setup-wise, is just like, no. It felt like almost two completely different stories and books got mixed up, and the final 5 chapters were actually from a different story, from a different book. They could have made a good ending to another story, but not this one. So I was very disappointed, and that's the reason why I gave this book only 2 stars. And then finally, a very recent book that I've read is Games of the Faerie Queen by Jem L. Preston. The first book in this series was the Faerie Guild Trials, and it is kind of this reverse situation of Grumpy versus Sunshine. Our female main character is the very strong one, the brutal one, the dark one, and the male character that gets introduced is more of this bright person. Book 1 is really a trial. Our main character gets thrown into this trial because the ruler of their lands has died, and whenever that happens and there isn't a clear inheritor, then a trial is set up so every fairy that wants to enter can enter to win these trials and to win the crown. So there is one winner, one total winner of this thing. And of course our main character enters this, and during the trials she finds out about the male main character that gets introduced to her. And the ending of book 1 was a little bit like, whoa, what is happening? It goes very fast at the ending of book 1. And in book 2 I hoped we would get a little bit more explanation, and we do get explanation, but book 2 felt so slow and so lackluster in comparison to book 1 that I just felt annoyed. And I do understand some of the things that happen to the main character, that she doesn't get over them fast, but it was like, for real bitch, get over it. I would not recommend this duology. Unfortunately, book 2 just felt rushed. It didn't feel cohesive. It didn't feel like it was written by the same person in the same style as book 1. So maybe it's just second book syndrome. This is the completion of this duology. But honestly, I don't understand. I was so happy with book 1, it felt so good, but book 2 was a really big disappointment. So those were the 4 books that I read during 2025 that I was really disappointed by, that I really didn't enjoy, and that I would not specifically recommend anyone picking up anytime soon, unless you know what you're getting into and it is something that you enjoy. And now, of course, I'm very curious, what are the worst books you have read during 2025? Feel free to give me all the details, because I would love to know. The reason someone doesn't like a book or someone else does is so intriguing to me. Because books are something so personal, and something that for me is a total turn off could be something that you absolutely love in a book. So I'm very curious. Feel free to let me know in a comment down below. Now, of course, if you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't seen my favorite books of 2025 yet, feel free to go ahead and watch that video. It's the previous one uploaded on my channel. And if you haven't yet and you'd like to be, feel free to subscribe to my channel. My aim is to make weekly videos for you, and would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading. Bye!